Forever. Dog.
Welcome to Public Domain Theater with Kelly Nugent, Lindsay Katai, and guest Zach Reino. Reading Nackles by Donald Westlake, writing as Kurt Clark.
Welcome to Public Domain Theater, the podcast of highbrow readings and lowbrow commentary. I'm one of your hosts, Lindsay Katai.
I'm another one of your hosts, Kelly Nugent.
And today, I am doing it? Son of a bee. Today on the podcast, we have a very funny person who is very special to me. He is a comedian. He's an actor. He's a singer. He's a writer. He's an improviser. You may know him from various funny things, but one of those things might be the Off-Book podcast on Earwolf, correct?
That's
Improvised musical podcast. It's Zach Reino.
Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Kelly. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for coming
This is
on.
my public radio voice.
Yeah,
Hi.
that's good. Hi.
I think it's worth saying that, Lindsay, you're also very special to me. Part of the reason is
thank
because
you.
we wrote a show called Les Miserables, which is the
Yes, we did.
which is the entire plot of Les Miserables if it took place inside
In
a
a
Sizzler.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
You saw it, right, Kelly?
I did see it.
Yeah.
A+.
Thank you.
10 out of 10. Wonderful
One of
work.
my favorite things and
Yeah.
one of the things I am most proud of.
Me too. We got the president of Sizzler to
Yeah,
show
the
up.
CEO of Sizzler
CEO
USA.
showed up to the last show.
12 of his family
Oh
members.
my gosh.
Wow, big
Yeah,
family.
yeah, they all came to our very last show at UCB Sunset. It
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
was a special time.
That's
Zach
pretty cool.
played Javert.
Wow.
Richie Roux played Jean Valjean.
We played multiple roles
And
over
I
the
played
course
multiple roles.
Wow.
'Cause
Oh, you're very
they're
versatile.
better singers.
Oh,
Singers.
singers. Mark was saying singer. And if you listen to Teen Creeps, our guest Mark says the word singer instead of singer.
Maybe
Sorry,
that's why
I was
said that
just
now.
remembering that.
Can you say the words in the title of this one again? Because one of them was unfamiliar to me.
The words of the title are Nackles.
That was the one.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
it.
the one I didn't know.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think that is?
Nackles?
I think I'm going to guess it's a name.
What? I feel like it's a part of an animal.
I think
okay.
it's something bad that happens to the bottom of a boat.
Oh, that's a good
My
guess.
boat's got knackles, and now I can't.
It's like too
sail
many
it.
barnacles.
I can't set sail until
yeah.
Barnacles,
That's what I'm
knackles,
thinking.
that's what it is.
It's a group
Barnacles,
of
yeah.
barnacles.
Barnacles.
It's someone's cool slang for barnacles.
yeah. Yeah.
cool boat slang.
Boat's got knackles on it, dude.
Oh, tight.
Dude, we can't set off till we scrape off these knackles.
We're basically marooned.
We're basically ruined because these knackles are all on this boat.
We're basically because these coals are all over our tuh.
We're skleeg ruined.
And that's why Scottish people
That's how they
have
talk.
that accent.
It's
We
not
love our
an
Scottish
accent.
listeners. We
Yeah.
love you.
They don't
It's not
have
an accent.
They just shorten all the
They
words.
just shorten all words.
So what do we know about Donald Westlake, aka
Oh,
Kurt Clark.
writing as Kurt Clark. So was this like how Stephen King would write under the name Richard something or other?
I mean,
Wait, really?
Yeah, Richard.
what?
I keep wanting to say Bauman. That's not right. Richard.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, Stephen King had a pseudonym he wrote under when he wanted to write something slightly different. Thank you, Stephen Bauman. I was right?
No, Badman.
Bachman.
Bachman.
Somebody could work on their penmanship, Alec.
Wow. You know, when you said somebody, I thought you were going to let him be nameless.
yeah, this says bad man.
Badman?
Alec, this says bad man on it. Your C and your H have collided and become a D.
Badman.
Yeah, that's the diagnosis. The
You know,
C and
I
the
like-
H have collided.
You know what I like? That the M and the N are caps.
It's got flair.
It has flair.
Your writing has flair.
You definitely have potential.
Oh, now I...
Okay, in the cursive.
Okay, here's what it says now.
Here's
Bach mom.
here's what
Yaz tried to write it out in cursive and we are...
Also, here's what I'm going to tell you, Alec. You need to learn how to plan because you started
Yeah.
very large.
Yeah. And then
look at
you
this
were starting
here.
to run out of
The
space.
MAN is very thin and very tall.
that says Bach Mom.
This is Bach Mom.
Also, now I have this person's email, and they may not want me to see it.
Oh, Alec, you signed an NDA to look at this person's email.
Alec's too busy.
Now he's practicing.
coming up with.
He's coming up with a different thing. He's gonna write.
Oh, that's very
great.
good.
See, here's the thing.
That
Third
is
time's the
very
charm.
good,
Third time's the
actually.
charm.
That is good.
I love talking
I
about.
never signed an NDA.
Yeah, okay.
I have a question.
He can give out as
Yes.
many emails as he wants.
Are either of the names who's writing is who?
Okay, so Donald Westlake. I think his pseudonym is Kurt Clark.
Okay, that's not like another author that he's like, and this is my one in the style of Kurt Clark.
Oh my god!
We
If
were
it's just like
talking about this.
yeah, if it's just like a drag where it's like I'm a big stupid idiot and I'm writing.
Yeah, this is something that. Oh, I'm sorry. What's the swearing policy?
We curse a lot.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You may.
This dummy.
Ooh, you said D.
Wow. Harsh.
Yeah, I've never heard of Mr. Westlake.
Have you?
No.
Well, he was an American writer. Oh, when do we think he was born then?
Oh.
1895.
Okay.
I'm going to say 1945.
You're very good at this, Lindsay. You got two correct.
You always
two
say
digits,
that.
2 digits. Well,
Hold on.
because
Did I get the first digit
no,
correct?
Zach, yes,
Okay.
it was in the year 1000 something.
Okay, well that's okay.
That's something. That's something.
It's not nothing.
1933.
Okay.
So he's actually a little younger than a lot of our other people, or at least more recent.
I could tell because the name Kurt. That was the
It's-
giveaway.
Yeah, very modern.
Yeah, there were no Kurtz.
When do we think he left
Nary
this
a
world?
Kurt.
Okay, so he wrote this in 1933.
He was born
When
in
he was born.
1933.
He wrote this when he
was a
born.
prodigy.
No, in 1964 he wrote this. This is a hint.
Okay, that helps.
1967.
Oh,
I'm going to say 1986.
2008.
He's still alive.
He's alive today.
As far as we
He's alive today.
He's alive today. We
2008.
are recording this in 2008. Oh, aren't we happy that Obama got elected?
Yeah,
It's
I
great.
mean,
It's
things
gonna
are
be
just going to
really
keep
great.
going
It's
up.
gonna be great for
We're
forever.
in a post-racial world.
I know. I don't see race. Okay. Okay, so he was an American writer with over 100 novels and nonfiction books to his credit. He specialized in crime fiction, especially comic capers, with an occasional foray into science fiction and fantasy, such as today's story, Nackles. Originally published in the magazine of
Never not
fantasy and
funny.
science fiction,
Yes.
January 1964, under the pen name Kurt Clark.
Oh, he was embarrassed of it.
Brooklyn baby. He was born in Brooklyn, New York. He wrote constantly in his teens. After 200 rejections, his first short story sale was in 1954.
I love a good underdog story.
He moved to New York City 1959, initially to work for a literary agency while writing on the side. By 1960, he's writing full-time. His first novel was The Mercenaries, and this was under his own name. Published in 1960. Over the next 48 years, he published a variety of novels and short stories under his own name and a bunch of pseudonyms. Here's a complete list of the pseudonyms he used.
Oh my goodness.
Rolf Passer.
Yes.
Richard Stark.
Yep.
Alan
Richard Stark.
Marshall. Alan Marsh.
He got tired.
He did a punch up on Alan.
Can we lose the all? James Blue. Ben Christopher. Andrew Shaw. Edwin West. Edwin.
like my dog.
John B. Allen. Don Holliday.
Oh, I like that one.
I like Don Holliday.
Yeah.
Kurt Clark. Oh, we know this one. Barbara Wilson. Interesting. Okay. Tucker Coe. P.N. Castor.
P.N. Castor.
Is Tucker Co. a company he started? Like a book company?
Tucker and Co.
Timothy J. Culver. J. Morgan Cunningham. Samuel Holt. Judson Jack Carmichael. A+, man.
Yeah.
He was married 3 times, the final time to Abigail Westlake, also known as Abby Adams Westlake and Abby Adams. She was a writer of nonfiction.
She was brought back from the dead after having been John Adams' wife.
Her 2 published books are An Uncommon Scold and The Gardener's Gripe Book. The couple moved out of New York City to Ankrum in upstate New York in 1990.
Here are her pseudonyms.
Whoa, Abby Westlake is a well-regarded gardener, and the Westlake Garden is frequently open for public viewing in the summer.
Oh.
We should go there. Westlake died of a heart attack on December 31st, 2008, while on the way to a New Year's Eve dinner while he and his wife were on vacation in Mexico.
Oh.
Wow. I mean, that's a
Okay,
somber
but who
end
did
to
he
that
vote
vacation.
for?
We gotta know. Shall we begin?
We shall. Are you ready, Zachary? Mm-hmm. Is it Zachary?
It is, but it rarely said.
I
Only read,
never say
said.
Zachary. I don't know why.
Seldom said, always true.
And thank you for tuning in. This is 97.2 Smooth Jazz. This one's for you. Jazz Laggy by Jensen P. Carmichael. All right.
Jazz Laggy.
Jazz Laggy. Did God create men or does man create gods? I don't know. And if it hadn't been for my rotten brother-in-law, the question would never have come up. My late brother-in-law, Nackles knows. It all depends, you see, like the chicken and the egg on which came first. What did you think it was?
Name.
Oh, was that my late brother-in-law Nackles knows?
I know.
think.
My late brother-in-law, question mark. Nackles knows. I think it's like God knows. Is Nackles a god?
I guess we'll find out.
Did God create Nackles or did Nackles
Create
create
God.
It all depends, you see, like the chicken and the egg on which came first. Did God exist before man first thought of him, or didn't he? If not, if man creates his gods, then it follows that man must create the devils, too.
So true.
Yeah, I've always said that.
Always said, almost never true.
And it turns out you're right.
Nearly every god, has his corresponding devil. Good and evil. The polytheistic ancients, prolific in the creation, of gods and goddesses, always worked up nearly enough evil ones to cancel out the good, but not quite. The Greeks...
I like the chuckles you're throwing.
Thank you. The Greeks, those incredible supermen, combined good and evil in each of their gods. In Zoroaster, Ahura Mazda, being good, is ranged forever against the evil one, Ahriman. And we ourselves know God and Satan. But of course, it's entirely possible I have nothing to worry about.
Hey, did you know I read books?
Yeah.
I've read books.
Here's some books I've read, and here are the people in those books. I've read them, and this is my real name. Why did he change his name so much?
Maybe he wanted to write a lot of different types of things.
Maybe he didn't want to be known. Because that's
I think he
terrible
didn't want to be
branding.
known for certain stories he wrote.
Yeah, and I think also maybe he kept thinking, okay, this will be the one that'll take off. And then it is not well received. And he's like, okay, let's just not skip.
So it's like a safety. He's like, I'm going to release this. And if people like it, I'll tell them who I really am. But if they don't, it'll always be Chad Clark.
Kurt.
Kurt Clark.
He's like, if they like it, I'll be like, 'twas I, Donald Westlake, husband of Abby Westlake.
Resurrected.
Of the garden? Of the garden, Westlake?
It all depends on whether... What? Okay, hold on. But of course, it's entirely possible I have nothing to worry about. It all depends on whether Santa is or is not a god. He certainly seems like a god.
Jolly.
Okay, so if we're following kind of the logic of this, he's about to introduce whatever evil Santa we also conjured up.
Is it Nackles?
Is it Nackles?
Evil Santa?
I mean, you could say Krampus, but
Yeah.
I think that he's going for a new kind of dark Santa, Shadow
that's
Santa, and that his
entirely
name is Nackles.
Shadow Santa.
Shadow Santa. He certainly seems like a god. Consider, he is omniscient. He knows every action of every child, for good or evil. At least on Christmas Eve, he is omnipresent everywhere at once. He administers justice tempered with mercy. He is superhuman, or at least non-human, though conceived of having human shape. He is aided by a corps of assistants who do not have completely human shapes. He rewards good and punishes evil.
Do you think this is the first guy ever who was like, did you ever really stop to think about Santa?
Like, how does he do it though?
What is he?
I think he corners you at a party, and it's a Christmas party,
Yeah.
and you're wearing a shirt that has Santa on it, and he's like, "Do you ever think,
Because he knows when you're sleeping, But he knows when you're awake. Like, what kind of man has that kind of power?
And like, also, aren't those kind of the same thing? Because if he knows that you're sleeping,
He knows you're not
He
awake.
knows you're not awake. And if he knows you're awake, then he knows you're not sleeping.
So
But
it's
I
like-
digress. Let me start from the beginning.
Also, all those things in non-human shapes. I could have just said elves and deer.
But I prefer to keep the air of mystery alive.
So like non-human. What is an elf even?
But you want to refill your drink? Let me walk with you.
Oh, you don't want me to walk with you? All right, then goodbye.
Do you want to
suppose
hear
I'll-
about my scripts, Bad Santa and or Nackles? I'm working on it.
Bad Santa and or Nackles. He rewards good and punishes evil, and most important, he is believed in utterly by several million people, most of them under the age of 10. Is there any qualification of godhood that Santa Claus does not possess? And even the non-believers give him lip service. He has surely taken over Christmas. His effigy is everywhere. But where are the manger and the Christ child?
Jesus is the reason for the season. Why is
War on
Starbucks so against Christmas?
No, guys, I'm here for this hostile god takeover. As a Jew, I'm firmly team Santa. I've got zero problems with Jesus.
Yeah.
The Christ did many miracles,
But
as we all know and
Team
love.
Santa.
But I am team Santa.
Yeah,
Team Shadow Santa.
Team Nackles.
Team Nackles.
Retired rather forlornly to the nave, Santa's power is growing too. Slowly but surely, he's usurping Hanukkah as well.
Okay.
I'm
There we
so
go.
sorry
There
to
we go.
interrupt
Hold on.
again.
Am I no
but-
longer on Team Santa? Why is he coming for the lesser Jewish holiday of Hanukkah? What does he need the Festival of Lights for? I'm sorry, Lindsay, what were you going to say?
No, it's quite all right. That's fair. I was stopping because it's like, okay, is he truly all right? Let's not come for the Jews. I think they got enough of that.
Santa Claus is a god. He's no less a god than Ahura Mazda or Odin or Zeus.
Remember those books I read?
I've read more.
Here's some others.
Think of the white beard, the chariot pulled through the air by a breed of animal which doesn't ordinarily fly. Just say
He
horses.
Yeah, we
refuses
get it.
to say reindeer.
Yeah, he
He won't say it.
I'm not going to say their name.
Also,
they're stealing it from
You
Jesus.
did just say horses. So I have to ask, in your mind, is Santa pulled by a bunch? Oh wait, is that written
I was
down
thinking.
here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of like Zeus or Odin or
Kelly.
something.
Oh, you're probably right.
Oh
my-
What
wait.
do you think Santa is pulled
Santa
by?
has ponies.
I mean, you're not
Kelly.
wrong. He does.
He does. He has ponies, but he doesn't use them for flying.
He gives them his gift.
The prayers, requests for gifts, which are annually mailed to him and which so baffle the post office, the specially garbed priests in all the department stores.
What are these?
Normally we get letters, but today we don't know where to send them.
I don't know what this address is. Do we deliver to the North Pole?
Deliver to the North Pole.
The North Pole?
Don't be silly.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
And don't gods reflect their creators? ? Society? The Greeks had a huntress goddess and gods of agriculture and war and love.
I read books.
What a blatant little snot he is. Society?
I know, society. And also the question mark stuff is like so dumb.
The three gods that he has chosen to list of the Greeks are pretty good.
Agriculture, war, love.
Yeah.
Also hunting.
Also hunting.
What else would we have but a god of giving, of merchandising, and of consumption?
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This is Chuck Palahniuk.
He hates Christmas. He hates Christmas. And Santa's the bad guy. Nackles is the good guy.
Oh my god. He's like, long range Nackles.
Long range Nackles, throw off your corporate overlord Santa and your attachment to material wealth, for it is I, Nackles. And I am come to deliver you the true reason of the season. Nay, it is not Jesus, and it is not Santa, it is I,
Nackles.
And I fly upon my normal horse, which do not fly. I ride upon him.
Across the ground.
And you know what? I'm not afraid to say the word
He
horse.
is called Horse, and I'm not afraid to speak his name. Nay, I shall shout it from the mountain, for I am Nackles and I ride upon a horse.
secondary gods of earlier times have been stout, but surely Santa Claus is the first fat primary god. Oh my God, he's dissing him for being fat.
Fat shame Santa.
Fat shame Santa.
It's the original like takedown of Santa.
I'm Nackles, and I'm thin and ride a horse, and Santa is fat and evil.
You know what? I don't know when you're sleeping. I don't know when you're awake.
I am Nackles, and I run a 4-minute mile.
I do dedicated weightlifts. And wherever there's a god, mustn't there sooner or later be a devil? Which brings me back
To Nackles.
to my brother-in-law.
Nackles.
Which brings me back to my brother-in-law. Who's to blame for whatever happens now? My brother-in-law, Frank, is or was a very mean and
dead.
nasty man.
Or he's not mean anymore.
We don't know what he is.
He's either dead or
or
not.
or not mean.
now nice. Why I ever let him marry my sister, I'll never know.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
That wasn't your call. Your
Why-
sister can marry whoever she wants. And also, Team
Nackles.
Nackles.
Yeah. And while we're at it, Team Nackles.
Why Susie wanted to marry him is an even greater mystery. I could just shrug and say love is blind, I suppose, but that wouldn't explain how she fell in love with him in the first place. Frank was, I just don't know which tense to use. The present, hopefully. Frank is very handsome in his way.
Pause.
He's in Schrodinger's box.
Yes,
We
I
don't know
was
whether
about to
he's
say the
alive
same
or
thing.
dead.
He has found.
Schrodinger's Frank.
Do we know what this is? What's this guy's name?
We don't know.
Okay, has found himself in some sort of quantum state.
Yes.
Yeah.
In which time is permanent and
He's
also,
in a Stargate.
Yep.
and that is why he's wondering these things.
Yeah, you don't know whether Frank is
he's
alive or
been-
dead
he's
until
been
you
s-
open that Christmas present.
Yeah, he's been stuck in this quantum state for like what his like it could be millions of
Yeah, he
years and it could
perceives to
be
be,
like
you know,
a minute.
5
Yeah.
minutes, 1 minute,
2 minutes,
3
3
minutes.
minutes, upwards of 4 minutes.
less
I mean,
than 4 minutes.
what the heck? 7.
Maybe.
Maybe 7 minutes.
There's nothing that says not 7.
The present, hopefully. Frank is a very handsome man in his way, big and brawny and full of vitality.
Like, did I want to fuck him? Yeah.
Yeah.
A football player, a hero in college, a defensive linebacker for 3 years in pro ball, till he did some sort of irreparable damage to his left knee, which gave him a limp and forced him to find some other way to make a living.
Sort of injury that would never happen if you did CrossFit responsibly, like my Lord and Savior Nackles, who rides a horse.
Ex-football players tend to become insurance salesmen. I don't know why. Frank followed the form
fucking guy.
and became an insurance salesman. Because Susie was then a secretary for the same company, they soon became acquainted. Was Susie dazzled by the ex-hero, so big and handsome? She's never been the type to dazzle easily, but we can never fully know what goes on the mind of another human being.
Look, I'm just like sitting at the back of the library reading books. And like, here this guy comes who like hits on my fucking sister.
He doesn't even ask me if he can do it first.
Doesn't like, and what's maybe worse is she doesn't either.
And like, what gives him the right? What gives him the right?
Where do you get up?
And then she likes him, and I don't know why, and I'll never know, and there's no way for me to get that information out of her. How could I know?
How could I
What's
know?
in her head?
I couldn't.
It's her thoughts.
Women are inscrutable.
For whatever reason, she decided she was in love with him. So they were married. 5 weeks later, he gave her her first black eye. Oh, shit.
This got
Okay,
worse.
now I'm
okay.
on- now-
We're
okay.
Okay, maybe
anti-Frank,
I'm on-
anti-Frank,
anti-Frank,
anti-Frank.
You may have
Frank,
picked the
Frank.
wrong side.
Yeah.
I mean,
still
Wrong
Team
side of
Nackles.
history.
Still her choice
Team
to
Nackles,
make.
Team Nackles,
Definitely
Team
Team
Nackles.
Nackles.
Okay.
However, yes, stop your sister.
And the last, though, it might never have been. I'm sorry, wait. And the 5 weeks later, he gave her her first black eye. And the last, though it mightn't have been, since Susie tried to keep me from finding out. I was to go over to dinner that night, but at 11 in the morning, she called the auto showroom where I work to tell me she had a headache and we'd have to postpone the dinner. But she sounded so upset that I knew immediately something was wrong. So I took a demonstration car and drove over. And
I could have taken my car, but the demonstration car, it was nicer, and it was red and shiny, and I wanted to drive it very badly.
for what it's worth,
I
I
was
do
like,
work.
oh, finally an excuse because like I gotta go right now, and then I have that excuse.
I do work at the Tesla kiosk at the Grove. I did drive.
Did drive through the grove.
I drove through a Nordstrom.
Look, did I use the display car in the middle of the grove? Yes.
Yes.
Was it for a good reason? Yes.
Yes.
Was I allowed to? No.
No, not at all.
I wasn't.
Not at all.
Did I mention that I do, though, drive Teslas and read books? These are the kind of the two takeaways for me.
I don't necessarily own one now, although, like, speaking of, like, not knowing time, like, what is time really? Like, if I own one in the future, do I not necessarily own it now? Maybe, who knows? I read books.
Okay, so now I think we know where sort of the technology for this quantum lock is coming from.
It's the Tesla.
It is the Tesla.
He's driven one Tesla, and that one Tesla was the last
and
Tesla he
we
ever
did
drove.
maybe put the Tesla into this narrative, but I am also fairly certain that is correct.
I feel very-
What year was this written?
64?
Yeah,
The
it's
Tesla,
It's
yeah,
the
it's
Tesla.
pretty-
It's the
yeah.
Tesla.
So I took a demonstration car, drove over, and when she opened the front door, there was the Shiner. I got the story out of her in fits and starts. Frank, it seemed, had a terrible temper. She wanted to excuse him because he was forced to be an insurance salesman when really he wanted to be out there on the gridiron again. But I want to be president, and I'm an automobile salesman, and I don't go around giving women black eyes. True. So I decided it was up to me to let Frank know he wasn't going to vent his pique on my sister anymore. Unfortunately, I am 5 feet 7 inches tall and weigh 134 pounds with the Sunday Times under my arm. Were I just to give Frank a piece of my mind, he'd surely give me a black eye to go with my sister's. Therefore, that afternoon, I bought a regulation baseball bat and carried it with me when I went to see Frank that night.
This guy is fascinating.
Yeah,
What an enigma.
we pegged him wrong.
Yeah, a little bit wrong. But
little
also
wrong.
not entirely wrong.
No,
Not entirely
wrong because he does read books. We were right about
He
that.
reads books.
And he is a little wimp.
Yeah.
But
5'7" is not. He's not huge like this football man.
This
He's also
football
not
man-
the shortest man I've ever.
He's
seen.
No.
average height.
He's about-
right?
but he's like, he's
Yeah.
slimmer than me.
How much
he's
did he say
slim.
he weighs?
130.
134.
Yeah, he's a real.
with
he's
the
a-
Sunday
He's
Times under
svelte.
his arm, and
That's
Sunday
a-
Times is a
svelte.
heavy
It's a
paper.
heavy-
And
newspaper.
and that means he reads. So he wants us to know yet again.
He reads paper.
He's like, which I read every Sunday.
Yep.
He opened the door himself and snarled, "What do you want?" In answer, I poked him with the end of the bat just above the belt to knock the wind out of him. Then, having unethically gained the upper hand, I clouted him 5 or 6 times more and then stood over him to say, "The next time you hit my sister, I won't let you off so easy." After which, I took Susie over to my place for dinner. And after which...
He's very nonchalant about the fact that he just like beat a man with a bat.
Okay, but this is where I think we turn again on him.
Okay.
After which, I was Frank's best friend.
What?
Hey guys, wanted to take a quick break from the show to talk to you about one of our sponsors, Everlane. Here's my advice to you. Take care of yourself. Treat yourself to some great classic essentials that are made of great quality, that are going to make you feel good and look good, and know that you're not overpaying or paying to some shady company. Because guess what? Would you buy a t-shirt for $50 if you knew it only cost $7 to make? Sorry, hard pass. With Everlane, you never overpay for quality clothes. Everlane only makes premium essentials using the finest materials without traditional markups. And they tell you their real costs, so you know you're never overpaying. Everlane wants you to know what you're paying for and why. They are radically transparent about every step in their process, from the materials they use to the ethical factories they work with. Because Everlane sells directly to you, their prices are 30 to 50% lower than traditional retailers. Their clothes look better, cost less, and last longer. And I am seriously telling you this from my tiny soul to your tiny soul. Their clothes look good, and I feel good and more confident when I wear them. People compliment me on my outfits when it's just like, it is stuff that I know is not a trend that's just going to fly away. It is a classic trend, always classic. I'm always going to look good wearing these clothes for time to come. Essentials like their Cotton Crew t-shirt are exactly what they should be. Simple, stylish, and made from quality materials. What are some of my favorite things? I love the straight leg crop in golden brown. I love the Renew long puffer in brick. Ooh, what about authentic stretch high-rise skinny ankle jean in washed black? These are a few of my favorite things. Everlane's timeless essentials are just what you're looking for. No frills, just quality. And now you can check out our personalized collection at everlane.com/public. Plus, you'll get free shipping on your first order. That's everlane.com/public. everlane.com/public. And now back to the show.
Oh, me now? This is shocking. People like that are so impossible to understand. Until the baseball bat episode, Frank had nothing for me but undisguised contempt. But once I'd knocked the stuffing out of him, he was my comrade for life. Oh, they're communists. And I'm sure it was sincere. He would have given me the shirt off his back had I wanted it, which I didn't. Also, by the way...
His shirts sucked. And he was much bigger than
cool.
mine. Why could I wear...
Why would he even? Because, like, he knows I can't. What a dummy. He doesn't even read. Also, by the way, he never hit Susie again. He still had the bad temper. By the way, this is all in... this next paragraph is entirely in parentheses.
Yay.
He still had the bad temper, but he took it out in throwing furniture out windows or punching dents in walls or going downtown to start a brawl in some bar.
This is still a violent person.
Yeah. I offered to train him out of maltreating the house and furniture, as I had trained him out of maltreating his wife, CrossFit. But Susie said no, that Frank had let off steam, and it would be worse if he was forced to bottle it all up inside him. So the baseball bat remains in retirement. End of
Is he
parentheses.
positing that the way that he would get this man to stop throwing furniture would be for him to go to his house and beat the shit out of him again with the baseball bat a second time?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you leave that armoire alone.
Oh, and from then on out, he was my best friend.
He never touched that armoire again.
From then on out, he adopted me as his son.
He started trying to give me his pants. I didn't want them.
Again, still too large.
Too big. But then he started throwing utensils out the window. Oh, so I beat him with a baseball bat.
Then came the children, 3 of them in as many years. Frank Jr. came first, then Linda Joyce, and finally Stuart. Susie had held the room.
Start. The madman.
Finally, Stuart. Susie had held the forlorn hope that fatherhood would settle Frank to some extent, but quite the reverse was true.
Of course not.
does.
Of course not.
Never
A baby
does.
doesn't solve it.
No, never, let alone 3 of them.
Oh my God.
This is
Three
a
in that
man
many years.
with no patience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shrieking babies, smelly diapers, disrupted sleep, and distracted wives are trials and tribulations to any man. But to Frank, they were, like everything else in his life, the last straw. He became, in a word, worse. Susie restrained him, I don't know how often, from doing some severe damage to a squalling infant. Jesus, Frank.
Dang.
And as the children grew toward the age of reason, Frank's expressed attitude for them was that their best move would be to find a way to become invisible. The children, of course, didn't like him very much, but then who did?
I miss Knackles.
Yeah. Oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
where's Nackles
Dude, I miss
at?
Knackles. Dude.
Here we go. Here we go.
Nice,
We're getting back.
tight. Give me that Knackles, baby. Mommy's hungry.
Hungry for the necky.
Yum, yum, yum.
I hate it when the guests join you on that voice.
Devil. Santa.
Last Christmas was when it started. Junior was 6 then, and Linda Joyce 5, and Stuart 4. So all were old enough to have heard of Santa Claus and still young enough to believe in him. Along around October, when the Christmas season was beginning, Frank began to use Santa Claus's displeasure as a weapon to keep the children in line. His phrase for keeping them mute and immobile and terrified. Many parents, of course, try to enforce obedience the same way. If you're bad, Santa Claus won't bring you any presents, which, all things considered, is a negative and passive sort of punishment, wishy-washy in comparison with fire and brimstone and such. In the old days, Santa Claus would treat bad children more scornfully, leaving a lump of
Krampus.
coal, or Krampus,
Or eating them.
where he just brings his
Puts them
devils.
in a sack?
Yeah.
Yeah. Krampus abducts children.
Abducts
Doesn't
children.
he have
And
like
then aren't
an
there-
obscene phallus as well?
I'm sure. I mean, what is
would.
Krampus without an obscene
Yeah, I mean,
phallus?
What is
he got-
anything?
He got bad dick.
He got
Is
mad
what you're saying,
dick.
I think.
Yeah.
I said
Yeah.
bad dick, not mad dick.
he got mad dick.
Bad
He got
dick?
mad dick, son.
He has like a long.
Is that what Krampus does? Put
Longest.
people in sacks?
I think
he
that there's
carries
always-
children away in sacks. I
Children
believe.
are either being eaten or kidnapped in those tales.
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, is coming.
Klaus.
Santa Claus.
And then there's also like various Christmas beasts. There's like
There's the one from the Grinch where they carved the roast.
Oh, maybe
beef.
he's just like chains you.
What are the?
he just chains you.
It's
Oh my
horrifying.
god.
Ew.
He's
He's like,
found the most.
Ew.
The,
I think you just found like some. You're on like the NSA watch list.
I
Or
just found what I can only describe as a very bad picture.
I didn't
Capital
find
V,
it.
capital
I
B.
drew it.
Oh, okay.
this whole time you've been quietly drawing.
I'm very good.
I'm very good at drawing.
Illustration is a hobby of mine. Right.
Where's Nackles?
I miss Nackles.
It's going to happen so soon, you guys. Don't worry
Please,
about it.
I-
You guys
I
are like
need
a couple
him.
of kids on Christmas morn.
I'm Nackles withdrawals.
In the old days, Santa Claus would treat bad children more scornfully, leaving a lump of coal in their stockings in lieu of presents. But I suppose the Depression helped to change that.
Oh, because
That
coal
one
was
that's-
valuable?
Oh, maybe. And because you didn't want to be like, hey, you get nothing. You already have nothing. So sad.
Yeah,
Oh, and then getting cold, they'd be like, "Oh, mother, may we light the
Because like
stove?"
you couldn't even give your bad kid coal.
They're
Yeah.
like
You
they're
didn't
like
have
the
it.
rats from Muppet Christmas Carol when Scrooge
They're
gives
exactly
gives
like
them
that.
all coal.
Yeah.
I saw that movie for the first time yesterday.
Oh, really?
Isn't it in theaters right now?
Oh, are they
they're,
putting
they're
it in
showing it
theaters?
in a theater? Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
I liked it,
You liked it?
and it's a surprise to no one. I liked a Muppet movie.
I'm shocked.
Yeah,
Everything I know about you says that you are a Muppet.
yes, that's right. that's correct.
You love animals. You love singing.
And when I wave hello and goodbye to people, I use both of my hands, and my hands kind of just sort of flail up at the top
Yeah.
of my arms back and forth.
Yeah. And you're happy.
And I'm happy
You're often happy.
often.
Often, but not always.
Well, who is?
Who knows behind closed
Be
doors?
realistic.
To every Santa, there's
There's
a
a knackle.
Nackles.
To every season, turn. There are times and situations when a lump of coal is nothing to sneer at. In any case, an absence of presents was too weak a punishment for Frank's purposes. So last Christmas time, he invented Nackles.
What?
Who is Nackles? Knackles is
a
to Santa
strong
Claus.
man. Knackles is a strong man who rides upon a horse, and you shall know me by my name.
Wings of
you shall say
flame
my
and
name.
eyes of fire. Cloven feet.
Which I use to do high repetition, low impact exercises.
Knackles is to Santa Claus what Satan is to God, what Araman is to Ahura Mazda,
read.
what the
We already know you read
I
those
read books,
books.
I read books.
We already know you read those
but like
specific
just
books.
so you
I remember
know, these
Mazda.
specific books, again, they're really good books. Happy Haunted Days.
Happy Haunted Days.
It took me a second to realize, why is someone whispering zoom zoom so familiar to my why do I know 100% what that is, and I cannot for the life of me remember that. It's like, oh right.
Car. Mazda. EA Games. Challenge everything.
It's in the game.
What the North Wind is to the South Wind. Knackles is the new evil.
You did hey bud, you did heightening wrong.
What?
God to Satan. Books reference to books reference. Wind going one way to wind going another way.
The other. I think Frank really enjoyed creating Knackles. He gave so much thought to the details of him. According to Frank, and as I remember it, this is Knackles. Very, very tall.
Hot.
I'm tall.
And very, very thin.
I'm thin. Hot.
What a honey.
Dressed in all black.
Oh,
Yeah,
hot.
with a
Knackles-
hot
gaunt
topic.
gray face.
Knackles can get it. Wait, sorry. What was that last part?
Wait,
Deep
sorry,
black
wait,
eyes.
sorry, wait.
Wait,
We all know
Wait, I'm
that.
sorry,
We all
what
know
was the
that.
face?
We all
What
know
was the
that.
face?
We all know
Knackles
that.
can get it.
Okay.
Knuckles can for sure get it, but
Okay.
what is the detail about the face?
Gaunt gray face.
Okay, yeah, he can
Okay,
get
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Deep black eyes.
Yeah, he
Oh,
can
okay,
get
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
sexy, sexy.
Oh my god, he's like
He
a stretched piece of
travels
taffy.
through an intricate series of tunnels under the earth.
Oh my god.
In a
my God,
black
he-
chariot on rails, pulled by an octet of dead white goats.
Wait. 8
What?
dead white goats.
8 dead white goats.
I'm Knuckles, and I misspoke about the animal which is pulling my chariot. My chariot is, in fact, a coffin, and it is pulled by goats, which are dead but still move, and are white, and I wear black, and the dichotomy of those colors is striking to behold.
Have you ever seen a yin yang?
I am a yin yang, for I am both good and evil. My goats are dead, and I am alive, and together we are one.
I love Nackles.
Oh,
I love I know he's the bad guy.
I know he's bad, but he's so amazing.
Fucking rules.
He's pretty metal.
Andy can, okay, yes,
he's
that's
metal.
what he is.
He's a metal god.
He's a metal, and he can get it.
Yeah,
He can for sure get
he
it.
is currently getting it.
He's like Babadook mixed with Slender Man.
The two. Sexy.
It's just like so hot.
Oh my god, I can't think of anything hotter. They're so slender and dark.
It's like so slender and like so tall and like wearing like really ill-fitting long clothes.
And like all his goats are dead and
like,
white.
They're so dead and
They're
like
so white.
they're so white, but the coffin is so black.
That's some Harry Potter stuff, though.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
To get pulled by those like thestral
kind of
goats.
Dementory.
Yeah. Oh, the
going
Dementor
to,
too. I didn't even think about it.
Oh fuck! Mixed with like a Dementor.
You know, I always wanted to fuck a Dementor.
Give me that Dementor's kiss.
All I could think when reading
Suck
Prisoner of
my soul
Azkaban.
out of my face. Am I right? Dementors can get it.
But everyone can see the goats though, even if you've
Right.
never seen death.
Even if you haven't seen death.
And what does Nackles do? Nackles lives on the flesh of little boys and girls.
Tight.
This is what Frank was telling his children. Can you believe it? Nackles roams back and forth under the earth in his dark tunnels, darker than subway tunnels.
Sorry. Something just occurred to me. Do you think that it is possible that Mr. Donald West, what's his last name?
Westlake.
Mr. Donald Westlake did not know that there is already a very real evil Santa. And he was like, oh shit, I can fan fiction this Santa guy. Hold on.
Oh my God,
Also, there's evil Santa, and he's like this. And it wasn't until after this was published, it was like, hey dude, actually there is.
It was the one book he hadn't read.
Sorry.
Oh, he's read so
He
many.
hasn't read the books, but can you remind me how dark these tunnels were?
I would love to. First of all, they're back and forth under the earth.
Yes.
Back and forth.
Yes.
As opposed to the tunnels which just go one way.
Yes.
Yeah. Or like a one big circle.
He
a
needs
big
you to
hole.
know.
A big hall, like a
No,
deep
I'm
pit.
sorry. By back and forth, it is
There's
one tunnel,
zigzag?
and you can just go both ways.
Oh, it's just one tunnel. So it's like a tunnel.
All right, so he has multiple tunnels, but they go back and they're like two-way.
I don't understand. Oh, you can go in the one tunnel.
You
Wait.
can go back.
You can
It
go
does
back.
say there are multiple tunnels,
So he has 3 tunnels.
possibly.
We've established he
But
has
you
exactly
can go-
3 tunnels.
You can go from one way to another.
Okay.
But you can go back?
Yes, and forth.
What?
Yes, and they are dark tunnels, but they're darker
Yeah.
than subway tunnels.
Okay.
It's like, have you been in subway tunnels?
I mean, yeah, they're
Darker than that.
They
So,
are.
like-
They are. Correct me if I'm mistaken. I have been in New York a couple times.
yeah.
They are lit.
They're lit.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So
the thing is,
that's
when you say
in that
darker,
way, these are darker.
this is like a closet with a light on. Darkness.
It's like imagine if like a few of the lights in the subway went out, I guess, because they're
Yeah.
just
If
darker.
only
It
there
doesn't
were
say
a-
pitch
if
dark.
only there were a way to say that there was no light in these tunnels, because he's not saying that.
That's the
No.
problem. Is he's trying to, but there are only like so many words in the English language, and so he's
Yeah.
trying to use the ones. At least in 1964, like we have that now.
Oh, okay.
But at the time-
okay, I thought you were saying that like. Much like Twitter has sort of a number of characters you're allowed to use, there are certain things that he had to put into this, and one of them was the subway, and this
Right.
was the only time at which he could fit it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pulled by the 8 dead white goats.
Hot.
Nice that he's reminding us. And he searches for little boys and girls to stuff in his big black sack and carry away and eat.
Dude,
yeah,
I'm
he's never
so
heard of
embarrassed for
Krampus.
you. I'm so embarrassed
Too bad.
for you.
Well, but you know what? Nackles is different. We know Nackles. We know Nackles.
we know him.
Nackles is not Krampus.
No. He does a lot of what Krampus does.
He does a shocking amount of what.
But you know what Krampus doesn't
does.
do? CrossFit.
He doesn't do CrossFit, and he doesn't.
I don't think he has subway tunnels.
He does not have goats.
Darker
and he does
than
not have
normal.
tunnels.
He doesn't
Yeah.
have goats, and he doesn't absolutely slay in a skin tight long.
He
He
probably
doesn't-
couldn't get it.
He doesn't get it, and he doesn't turn heads the way that Nackles does.
Exactly.
Nackles?
Men, women, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dead goats.
Dead goats.
Yeah.
'Cause
eight
Nackles-
of them.
A
He's
octet.
polyamorous.
He also like when Nackles walks in a room, like Knuckles is in the room. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like, oh, Knuckles.
That star
The room is in
quality.
Nackles.
For sure. That
Yeah.
capital Q quality.
Yeah. He's an it girl.
It girl.
But Santa Claus won't let him have the good boys and girls. Santa Claus is stronger than Nackles and keeps a protective shield around little children so Nackles can't get at them.
Why?
What?
Why is he inventing this?
But Santa has
Because
the power
Frank
of,
is an asshole.
But Santa has the power of force fields, but Knuckles has the power of lasers. But Santa has the power to eat lasers with his mirror guns.
No. I just shot you. I just shot you, so you're dead.
No,
I just shot you.
No, because
No,
I jumped
no,
on the couch and the
no,
couch is free
no.
zone. The
Okay,
couch
but it's
is
not
free
the
zone.
free zone when I bring my 8 dead goats. Because
No,
the goats.
you didn't say that before we started playing.
No, you don't get to
didn't
bring
say
your
that
8 dead
before.
goats until the middle of the game. We all had to announce, did we have 8 dead goats? And you didn't
And you
say
didn't say
anything.
Okay, well,
anything.
they were okay, but they were a
What?
secret at the time. They were a secret at the time, so I couldn't reveal that I had them at the time. And now, Santa, you're just using this force field, and it's
Okay.
not fair because I'm
But-
trying to eat the children. You can't just have a force field around them.
But yeah, because force fields are invisible. I had it the whole time. You just didn't see it.
Well, so were my goats, and they were invisible, and that's why you didn't see them.
Well,
And
they're
also,
not. But shields are stronger than goats. Everybody knows shields are stronger than goats.
Why do we always have to play at your house?
Sorry, guys, I do want to stop this fun bit to remind everyone of the nugget of truth that Lindsay just brought up, which is important to remember.
Oh.
That shields are stronger.
Shields
than,
are
stronger than
stronger
goats.
than
And if you
goats,
take
yeah.
one thing away from this, please remember that is true.
Shields are stronger than goats.
Santa is stronger than oh God, I almost said Krampus. Oh my.
Then
Who
Nackles.
the fuck is Krampus?
I'm so sorry.
Who is that?
Can we take an actual vote real quick?
Knuckles and Krampus
Has he heard?
had a messy breakup, and I can't believe you would mention
Oh my
Krampus.
God, we are on Team Knuckles forever.
Absolutely.
But for real though, has he heard of Krampus?
I
And
don't
he's
think
just
so.
cribbed him and made something that's extremely similar,
I
or
think he hasn't.
is he actually just like, okay?
I think
You know
he-
what? I think
or,
he's. I think he's fully ripping on.
So he
ripping
does
off.
know, and
I
he's
will say
plagiarizing.
the difference is that Santa Claus doesn't fight Krampus.
He does not.
He just is the
They don't
Santa
even
Claus
exist
for
in the
that
same
region.
world.
He's Mariah
Yes.
Carey. I don't know her.
Yes.
He's like I don't
Yes.
even care. Like who
Knuckles
is
is
this?
like, I don't know
like
her.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who this is. I don't need to.
Exactly. They're both divas in their own right.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they had a very
Knuckles.
messy breakup.
Knuckles.
It's a very sore subject. But when little children are bad, it hurts Santa Claus. And weakens the shield Santa Claus has
What?
placed around them.
Okay.
And if they keep on being bad, pretty soon there's no shield left at all.
Is this a Kylo Ren and Rey like AU fanfic?
It really is though, like you are playing at someone's house and they're like, but here are the rules in
You're
my
like,
house.
no, these are the rules. And then you're like,
When
oh,
you're good, your shield gets strong. And that is why bad things never happen to good people.
Yes,
When you are
exactly.
bad,
It
the
means
shield,
you deserved it.
The shields are, yeah. When you are bad, the shield weakens and the thin, sexy man will come and try to eat you.
this
And you're gonna like it.
this is a lot like hanging out with a friend that's like really tiring to hang out
Yes.
with because there's so many rules.
Yes.
And you're like, can't we just like play pretend? And you're like, no.
And no matter what happens, they find a way to win the game.
Yeah.
It's real frustrating.
That's who Frank is.
That's
Frank
Frank.
is the
Frank sucks.
shitty kid in the neighborhood.
Frank does suck, and we did know that from the beginning, and it's important just to remember that. We were all wrong about Frank when we were initially like, let your sister marry him. He is bad.
But not necessarily wrong about the narrator, who
Might also
is still
suck.
pretty obnoxious.
But,
But
that being said, Nackles
does care
is
about his
hot and
sister.
can get it.
Knuckles is, I think, the only one who we're sure is good.
Yeah, Nackles is good.
Knuckles is good as in hot.
As in hot.
This is how this show usually goes. Right?
Yeah, we usually lust after the fucking walking nightmare.
They're synonymous, good and hot. And if they keep on being bad, pretty soon there's no shield left at all.
Tight, man.
The continual, this guy.
Tell me more
And
about
on
the shield.
Christmas Eve, instead of Santa Claus coming out of the sky with his bag of presents, Nackles comes up out of the ground with his bag of emptiness.
Oh. The wind kind of went out of the sails there.
Knuckles,
Bagged
what's
of
your
em-
bag? It's a bag of emptiness. Okay, but like, what is it? It is a bag. It is full of emptiness. It's a magical bag of emptiness. Cool. So it's just an empty bag? No. It is
It's
a bag
full to the brim.
It is full.
Knuckles listens to Evanescence.
It is full of the void.
Yeah. He also definitely has like a journal
Oh, yeah. He's a tortured teenage boy.
for sure.
But like, you want to
Knuckles-
know what's in that
Bag,
shit.
Yes.
Bag of Emptiness is like a great Evanescence track that,
Yeah.
that we deserve and haven't gotten yet.
He doesn't have a journal. He has a songbook.
Oh,
He's
and
writing
he
down
writes poems.
songs. Yeah.
Because what is a poem
But a song. And
from
what is a
which
song
the
but a
the
poem?
notes have ran away.
An abandoned song. That's what I call them. Poems.
Abandoned songs?
Abandoned songs.
Poems are just like abandoned songs.
But like, aren't we all?
Aren't we all? Poems from which the notes have run away.
Aren't we all in our own bag of emptiness?
So does that mean that we're together but alone? Forever together alone.
Krampus, I miss you.
I told you not to say her name.
Crampy.
Oh, I love that Krampus is a woman in this universe.
They're all men and women.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
because yeah,
Yeah. There is no gender.
duality.
Is Santa the same?
Yeah.
That's cool too.
Yeah.
Or Santa sucks in that he's like, no, there are two genders, and I am the boy one.
I'm the boy one. The best boy one.
Nackles comes up out of the ground with his bag of emptiness and
You can do it. I believe in you.
and stuffs the bad children in and whisks them away to his dark tunnels and the 8 dead white goats.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Thank
So
goodness we
it's-
always know where the dead white goats are.
I mean, it's important. Hey, goats, you stay in the tunnels. You
And
do
there are
not come
8.
with me,
There are 8 of you.
and you're dead.
Also, dead white.
Dead white goats.
Are they dead, or is their whiteness just so white that it's dead
Oh, they're
white?
dead. Like,
like
like
dead white,
It's
like
dead
pitch black
white.
dead
There's
white.
a dash in between.
Oh, they're
white.
just white. They're
dead
just
white.
they're like albino.
They're not dead though,
They're dead.
but they're
They're not
dead
dead.
white.
They're white as death.
I
Yeah.
wish that they were dead.
They might
Honestly.
be. He's
I'm
just
gonna
not
say
being
they're
specific.
dead.
Coincidentally, they're dead. I think he just doesn't mention that they're dead, but they are also dead white.
It goes without saying,
That's
perhaps.
that's canon.
Canon.
Perhaps that is
That's canon. No,
Perhaps.
it's canon.
It's canon.
now.
It's
Now
canon.
it is canon. Everything, like head canon, doesn't exist in this room. It is just canon.
For sure.
Everything we say about Nackles is Nackles. Frank was proud of his invention, actually proud of it. He not only used Nackles to threaten his children every time they had the temerity to come within range of his vision, he also spread, do you like that word?
I read
It's a pretty good word, temerity. He also spread the story around to others. He told me and his neighbors and people in bars and people he went to see at his job as an insurance salesman. I don't know how many people he told about Nackles, though I would guess it was well over 100.
Good God, can you imagine knowing
man-
Frank?
Is nuts.
It's
And I think we all know what happens to him.
Yeah, he definitely
is Knuckles, becomes Knuckles.
No.
He gets eaten by Knuckles.
Yes, he's a bad little boy.
He's a bad little boy.
He
gets
weakens
stuff
Santa's shield so much.
Wait, can I predict that Frank, unnamed narrator tries to like teach Frank a lesson, so he dresses up as Knuckles, and in front of the kids like beats the shit out of Frank,
in. Your dad was right, but also he sucks.
and then he like puts him in a bag and takes him away.
You know how in Fight Club the narrator didn't have a name, so they call him Jack's Broken Heart?
This
Like,
is
I am Jack's Broken Heart.
oh
So
shit.
that's what his name is in this story. The narrator is
Jack's broken heart. Fuck.
Yeah. Damn. And there's more than one Frank in this world.
What?
Oh my God. He told me from time to time of a client or neighbor or bar crony who had heard the story of Nackles and then said, by God, that's great.
Nope.
That's what
No.
I've been needing to
Nope.
keep my brats in
No.
line.
What?
Nope. Not true.
It's spread.
He's fucking lying. He's lying.
Not a single person heard that and was like, yes, I will take that from this man who came to sell me insurance. I will tell it to my children.
Good
And
God.
all will know the tale of Nackles.
All we'll know of Nackles and his dead white goats, both dead and white.
Dead in their whiteness and white in their deadness.
Knuckles.
Thus Nackles was created, and thus Nackles was promulgated.
Promulgated?
You mean
Promulgated.
propagated? I don't know.
Like
Books?
I really wanted to look up how to say that word before I say
Promulgate,
it.
I think.
Promulgated?
Yeah.
And thus was Nackles promulgated.
Profiteroles.
Promulgated.
Profiteroles.
Profiteroles.
And would any of the unfortunate children thus introduced to Nackles believe in this evil being any less than they believed in Santa Claus? Of course not. This all happened, as I say, last Christmas time. Frank invented Nackles, used him to further intimidate the children, and spread the story of him to everyone he met. On Christmas Day last year, I'm sure there was more than one child who was relieved and somewhat surprised to awaken the same as usual in his own trundle bed and find the presents downstairs beneath the tree, proving that Nackles had been kept away for another year.
Nackles lay dormant, so far as Frank was concerned, from December 25th of last year until this October. Okay, that's an interesting place for him to start.
He's a busy guy. He's busy longer than Santa.
Then, with the sights and
gets
sounds,
busy.
he gets busy.
Nice,
He's getting
nice.
it. He's getting it
He's
until
getting
October.
it. Yeah, he's getting it. It's gotten. It's good.
Then, I'm sorry, I'm gonna blow my nose real quick.
Everybody wants to blow their nose.
Everyone wants to. Doing this
sorry.
Nackles voice has moved some stuff into my sinuses. Nackles lay dormant as far as Frank was concerned from December 25th of last year until this October. Then, with the sights and sounds of Christmas again in the land, back came Nackles, as
Hell yeah.
fresh and
yeah.
vicious as all
Fuck
He
yeah.
is fresh.
Oh
he
my
is vicious.
God.
Yummy.
He is so hot.
He's so hot.
So hot.
And he is well rested.
No, yeah, he had a glow up.
He got a makeover, maybe. He's got like a new wardrobe. Like his cloak is blacker than black now.
It's like a little shiny.
yeah.
His gray skin is still so dewy.
It's
He
so
slept
dewy
so
and
good.
gray. And
Almost
his eyes
sparkly.
are so deep
They're
set.
so deep in black.
Yeah.
You just want to get lost in them, and you will, and you want it.
And you
Yeah.
will, like a bag of emptiness.
And when he opens his mouth, like 500 moths come out, and like
hot.
you open your mouth so that
You
they
just
go.
let
say,
them
"Get
like
those
wash
moths in
over
my
you.
mouth."
Yeah.
Don't expect me to stop him, Frank would shout when he comes up out of the ground the night before Christmas to carry you away in his bag with his dead white goats. Do you remember the story? Don't expect me to stop him in the tunnels that are darker than a subway. Don't expect any help from me. It was worse this year than last. Frank wasn't doing as well financially. Frank wasn't doing as well financially as he's expected. And then, early in November, Susie discovered she was pregnant again.
No.
Susie, what are you doing?
Susie.
Susie, you
I'm
have
sorry,
to
abortion.
But also, like,
You
what,
have
but
to.
also, like, what are we doing?
have to.
What are we
let
doing?
Knuckles have the baby.
What are we doing? Give it to Nackles.
Give it to
first of all.
Knuckles. Give it
to
He'll
Nackles,
raise
First
it right.
of all, yeah.
Second of all, what are we doing placing that responsibility on women? It's so much easier
No, I know.
for a man to stop
No.
his wife from
Honestly,
getting pregnant than it is
no.
for her to do.
Oh, no,
should've-
I'm just
he
saying you
should've-
need to be making a plan to get out
Oh
of there.
yeah, she
Oh,
needs
yeah,
to
yeah,
she
yeah.
needs to get some plan in place.
Not her fault.
Also, I mean, he should have gotten a vasectomy.
Yes.
Yeah, she
should've-
hates children
He should,
so much.
honestly,
hates
should have
children.
been born with a vasectomy.
Yeah, because
Honestly,
Honestly.
he should have been not born.
okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see what's happened.
Let's wish real hard that Knuckles will make it so.
Early in November, Susie discovered she was pregnant again. And what with one thing and another, Frank was headed for a real peak of ill temper.
Okay.
That's the nicest possible way to say abuse again.
Yeah.
He screamed at the children constantly, and the name of Nackles was never far from his tongue.
Okay, he needs to stop
Nor
when he's
ours.
screaming about Knuckles. I know.
The name of Knuckles.
I know we love to scream about Knuckles,
Yes.
but like,
We're doing it right.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like, if you are screaming at your child, like,
We
here's
have the true
thing.
spirit of Knuckles.
So what okay, so like set the stage for me. What did the kid do?
So the kid like broke a dish.
Billy! You broke a dish! And Nackles will come up from the ground.
Here's the thing: if I am the wife, I would bust up. I'd be like, "You're fucking talking about Knuckles again?"
You
like, "Knuckles, Billy!"
you screamed at the kids all year last year, and Nackles didn't come.
We can't make Knuckles come. You have to
will
realize
come a
that
point.
You have to you'll have to do it. Oh no, I hope that's not what happens.
he has
Could
to be
be.
Knuckles.
No, I think Knuckles
The name
gets him.
of Knuckles. Oh God, I hope so. The name of Knuckles was never far from his tongue. Susie did what she could to counteract Frank's bad influence, but he wouldn't let her do much. All through November and December, he was home more and more of the time because the Christmas season is the wrong time to sell insurance. Hold on. Let me take that sentence again because it doesn't end there. Because the Christmas season is the wrong time to sell insurance anyway, and also because he was hitting the job more and more every day and thus giving it less of his time. And there are no commas in there, and that is, in fact, a hate crime. To literature and me, specifically. It's the person that had to read it.
Personally attacked.
Personal hate crime.
Christmas
Persecution.
season is the wrong time to sell insurance anyway, and also because he was hating the job more every day and thus giving it less of his time. Okay, I see what happened there.
Right.
The more he hated the job, the worse his temper became, and the more he drank. And the worse his limp got. Spoiler, he has a limp.
No, that was earlier. That's why he's working in insurance.
Oh, right. He had
hurt
that
himself.
injury.
He hurt
He
himself.
can't be on the gridiron
Yeah.
Well, I
anymore.
heard that, but did they say he specifically has a limp?
I didn't know it was like what? He's torn ACL. His ACL?
It
What happened?
said it might be something comparable.
The worse his temper became, the more he drank, and the worse his limp got, and the louder were his shouts, and the more violent his references to Nackles.
Oh my God. Like, honestly, the fact that Nackles is the thing that follows.
The more violent were his references to Nackles.
Yeah, it's like, at first it was like, Nackles is going to get you. Then it's, Nackles is going to eat you. Then it's, Nackles is going to fucking rip into your neck with his sharp, perfect teeth.
Oh, you think it's going to be slow? You think it's going to be slow? It's going to be slow. You're going to bleed out into Nackles' hot, wet mouth.
And you're going to love it.
You're gonna
actually.
love it.
Sweet release.
And I have a boner, and don't look at that right now.
We'll talk about the birds
That's
and bees
beside
later.
the point.
Knuckles will teach you about the birds and the bees.
Nackles, as we have established, can
punishment
get it.
and puberty.
The Greeks had the harvest and the hunt and agriculture. Nackles is fear and death and puberty and goats. More violent, his references to Nackles. It just built and built and built and reached its crescendo on Christmas Eve when some small or imagined infraction of one of the children, Stuart, I think, resulted in
Stuart.
Stuart!
Stuart, no.
Stuart!
Stuart.
Back from Mad TV! Stuart, I think, resulted in Frank's pulling all the Christmas presents from all the closets and stowing them in the car to be taken back to the stores. Because this Christmas, for sure, it wouldn't be Santa Claus who would be visiting the house. It would be Knuckles.
Oof, that
And
shield
that's
is down.
That's some sociopathic bullshit.
That's
where you're
crazy.
Christmas is
That's
canceled,
crazy.
children. Oh, God.
End of story.
End of story. The end. No. By the time Susie got the children to bed, everyone in the house was a nervous wreck. The children were too frightened to sleep, and Susie herself was too unnerved to be of much help in soothing them. Frank, who had taken to drinking at home lately, had locked himself in the bedroom with a bottle. Rude! You share that bedroom.
Share.
It's Christmas time.
Oh.
It was nearly 11
It's
o'clock.
Nackles time.
It's Nackles time.
Nackles time is here.
It was nearly 11 o'clock before Susie got the children all quieted down, and then she went out to the car and brought all the presents back in and arranged them under the tree. Then, not wanting to see or hear her husband anymore that night, he was like a big spoiled child throwing a tantrum.
He was.
She herself went to sleep on the living room sofa. I'm sorry that I read that so badly, but you get what happened. Frank Jr. awoke in the morning crying, "Look, Mama, Nackles didn't come. He didn't come." And he pointed to the presents she'd placed under the tree. The two other children came down shortly after, and Susie and the youngsters sat on the floor and opened presents, enjoying themselves as much as possible. We all know what happened, right?
Yep.
But still with restraint. There was none of the usual squeals of childish pleasure. No one wanted Daddy to come storming downstairs in one of his rages.
sad.
So the children contented themselves with ear-to-ear smiles and whispered exclamations. They whispered things like,
Soon.
"That's right.
O'Reilly.
Auto parts." So the children contented themselves with ear-to-ear smiles and whispered exclamations of zoom zoom. And after a while, Susie made breakfast, and the day carried along as pleasantly as could be expected under the circumstances. No one checked. No one checked what was going on.
No one checked. Fuck.
I mean, it's good, but
I mean, it's good.
it's good. but-
Traumatizing for the children.
Yeah.
Kids is, I mean, okay. It was a little after 12 that Susie began to worry about Frank's non-appearance. Noon? Okay. She braved herself to go up and knock on the locked door and call his name, but she got no answer. Not even the expected snarl. So just around 1 o'clock, she called me, and I hurried on over.
With my bat.
With my bat. I was half expecting him to say that. I rapped smartly on the bedroom door
Smartly.
Bink, bink, bink.
with my bat.
I'm so smart.
So
I
smart,
read so many books.
Got no answer. and I finally threatened to break in the door with my regulation bat. And I finally threatened to break in the door if Frank didn't open up. When I still got no answer, break the door in, I did.
Tight.
Is not how you write a sentence, but
The
yes.
grammar in this makes it real hard to read cold.
When I got break the door in, I did. And Frank, of course, was gone.
What?
The police say he ran away, deserted his family.
He's in a
primarily-
Nackles orgy.
Deserted his family primarily because of Susie's 4th pregnancy. They say he went out the window and dropped to the backyard, so Susie wouldn't see him and try to stop him. And they say he didn't take the car because he was afraid Susie would hear him start the engine. That all sounds reasonable, doesn't it? Yet, I just can't believe Frank would walk out on Susie without a lot of shouting about it first.
He was a shouty sort of
He
fellow.
was a shouter, that Frank. Nor that he would leave his car, which he was fonder of than his wife and children, even though it wasn't as nice as the Tesla that I stole from the showroom floor.
Nary to say a thing about the 8 dead white goats.
But what's the alternative?
Fuck.
The only one I can think of. There's only one I can think of. Nackles.
Nackles. Team Nackles.
Team Nackles.
I would rather not believe that. I would rather not believe that Frank, in inventing Nackles and spreading the word of him, made him real. I would rather not believe that Nackles actually did visit my sister's house on Christmas Eve. But did he? If so, he couldn't have carried off the children. If so, he couldn't have carried off any of the children for a more subdued and better behaved trio of youngsters you won't find anywhere. But Nackles, being brand new and never having had a real meal before. Okay, so he's positing
He's
that
gonna
Nackles,
eat them.
he's positing that
Nackles
Nackles
straight up ate,
is
yeah.
real, but this is the first time he's been real, and it's right now.
He was brought forth by Frank's
because all
horrible
you
behavior.
need is belief, right? And so he was getting
It's like
a bunch of people
Frank-
to believe.
It's like Frank was the biggest believer in Nackles up until us 3.
It's Tinkerbell. Up until us three.
Up until us 3.
Up until us
It's
three.
Tinkerbell rules. If you believe hard enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He
Nackles
clapped
is here.
too loud.
He clapped too loud and he got eaten. He couldn't have carried off any of the children for a more subdued and better behaved trio of youngsters you won't find anywhere. But Nackles, being brand new and never having had a real meal before, would need somebody. Somebody to whom he was real. Somebody not protected by the shield of Santa Claus. And, as I say, Frank was drinking that night. Alcohol makes the brain believe in the existence of all sorts of things.
There better be some better proof up in this story.
Nope, this is
apart
it.
from-
Spoiler alert, there
No!
probably isn't.
Also, Frank was a spoiled child if there ever was one. Was he? Did we get that information before?
He called him that for a hot second, like a
He said he
few
was like a
paragraphs
spoiled, he
ago.
was acting like a spoiled baby. But
Yeah.
we don't know. Okay.
No.
All right.
That's
He
it.
was drinking and then therefore he was evil.
Yeah.
Pretty puritanical, unnamed narrator. There's no question but that Frank Jr. and Linda Joyce and Stewart believe in Nackles. And Frank spread the gospel of Nackles to others, some of whom spread it to their own children, and some of whom will spread the new evil to other parents. I said that weird. And some of whom will spread the new evil to other parents. And ours is a mobile society. Okay.
Oh man.
Okay,
Oh,
buddy.
boy.
We
All
use the
right.
subway and carts pulled by goats.
And mostly the subways are light, but some are darker than subways.
And ours is a mobile society with families constantly being transferred by daddy's company from one end of the country to the other. So how long
It's
can
spreading like a disease.
So how long can it be before Nackles is a power not only in this one city, but all across the nation?
Contagion.
Contagion. I don't know if Nackles exists or will exist. All I know for sure
Is that I want him to exist.
is that God, he can get it.
Yeah.
Because you know he can.
All I know for sure is that there's suddenly a new meaning in the lyric of that popular Christmas song. You know the one I mean. You
Better watch out.
Out. Wow.
Is that how it
And-
ends?
And it doesn't
It was
mention the
such-
quantum time
I'm
lock
sorry.
at all.
No. He
Sorry.
really
You
pussed
fu-
out on that.
You fucked up. Donald?
Donald?
That was such a rollicking good time,
Kurt?
and Nackles never arrived to get it the way you know that he can.
I wish that we had met Nackles.
This really is like an episode of The Twilight Zone, though. Mm-hmm. It's very Twilight Zone-y.
Yeah.
And that it's like an asshole gets what's coming to him, and it's like, is it spooky and supernatural?
But it
Maybe.
is, right? Because the one Twilight Zone that I'm thinking of is where people are like, oh, it's they're operating on someone. They're like, oh, it's hideous. It's so hideous. And that pulls back at the very end and they're all pig people.
Yeah, and the
That
woman
one's
they're operating on is beautiful.
Right, and that's explicitly supernatural.
Well, yeah,
I'm just
it
saying,
gets
you could have
very
had,
supernatural and very sci-fi, but not necessarily. Sometimes it's just like, and I leave it to you to decide what happened.
Is Nackles real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go, doo-doo-doo-doo.
Or did Donald Westlake go out the window, limp his way to the next town,
to
probably
be drunk elsewhere.
bang someone else, and start a new secret family and ignore the family he had?
Holy shit, that's what it is. All of
And
those,
spread
all
the
of those
gospel of
names
Nackles.
are
Oh my god!
are his secret families.
They're his secret family pseudonyms.
Which means this wasn't written by Donald Westlake, which means by Nackles.
Nackles, Daddy
Team Nackles.
Daddy Nackles. Wow,
What a fizzle of an ending, though.
It was
truly.
It was so. I loved it.
It was really fun.
Up until the very end.
Yep.
And then Donald, you did it bad.
Too bad. Yeah, you did it bad.
He did do it bad.
You did this story bad.
Did he say he writes mostly nonfiction, but also everything? In the bio, it was like he writes mostly nonfiction, but also
But
fiction.
also all of
His
it.
wife, his wife wrote nonfiction
and gardened.
and gardens.
And
Very
she
famous
also
gardener.
wrote gardens.
He specialized in crime fiction, especially comic capers. So like,
But also
funny,
everything.
But then also science fiction and fantasy.
This was so fun until the end.
Was it,
He
or did
needed
we
to
make
I
it?
think we
straight up.
made it fun, Lindsay. I think if you sat down to read this,
but it was like super bonkers in the details.
yes.
And then the ending wasn't bonkers at all.
Can we talk about the weird allusions to like, dead? Or Frank, that's how he is. I don't know what the word I should use.
oh yeah,
Well, it's because he either ran off or he got
he's
eaten by
eaten by
Nackles,
Nackles.
I guess
the
that
lucky
makes
bastard.
sense.
from within the belly of Nackles the Beast.
I just love how long it took, like how much philosophizing he needed to do before he got there. He's like, did God invent man invent God? And if we did just invent God, like would he become real just because we invented him? Or would he have already been real because we didn't invent him yet and he gave us life and we gave him life also?
Also, TLDR, my God is Nackles and he is ripped and does CrossFit and has dead white goats.
Bro, I am Nackles.
For I'm Nackles and you should know me by my goats.
And you shall know me by my gets.
My gut.
Gets.
My goats and my gets.
My goats and my gets.
Because I get it and
my
I goat it.
And my gains.
He does get it.
He does get it, and he does get gains. Mm-hmm. Mad gains.
Wow,
Gains,
mad
goats, and getting.
gains.
That's what Nackles is all
I
about.
do still love Nackles, I think.
I love
Nackles.
Nackles. I love Nackles.
Especially if you took Frank.
Yeah, I think I don't love the story. I do love Nackles, and I do love the sort of Smash Brothers brawl that he's having with Santa and his shield that is weakened depending on how good children are. Oops. Santa. Oh boy.
What a ride.
What a ride.
We made it a ride together.
This was a fun holiday
It's
episode.
truly-
It
you
was very
guys.
fun.
This was a fun holiday episode. Thank you
was
very
great.
much. I'm not sure if a listener suggests this, but Brett set this up for us, and this was great.
Thank you, Brett.
for
Thank you,
picking this
listener.
story.
Thank you, Alec,
Thank you, Alec.
for marking the breakpoints and letting me know Stephen King's pseudonym and good penmanship and good spacing.
Good spacing.
Good spacing of letters.
Here's the thing: you evolved. Mm-hmm. You got better.
We don't
Thank
need
you,
you to be
Zach.
perfect. We need you to learn. Yes.
Yes. We need you to do your
Oh,
best.
thank you.
Otherwise, Knuckles will be coming.
Knuckles
you know,
will come
you know who did their best? Zach.
Oh,
You
gosh.
did. You did a great
You brought
job.
it.
You think you
You
both
brought
did your
it as
best.
always.
Your,
Thank
shield,
you.
Thank
your
you.
shields are strong, but if you want to let them down to let Nackles in, I hope that happens for you.
Thank you. And
When-
it will, and I do.
If I hear the cloven hooves of those fucking dead
Those
goats,
dead white goats.
those shields are going down.
Yep.
And those floors are getting mopped, baby.
yeah.
Happy holidays. May your shields
Happy
be may your
holidays.
shields
May
be
your
down
shi-
and your goats be
oh,
dead white.
And
Yeah.
also yours. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Oh, yeah, sure. If you don't know, listen to Off Book, the improvised musical podcast. We do an hour-long improvised musical with a guest and a drummer and pianist in the studio, and it's real fun. We have lots of fun episodes with lots of fun guests like Rachel Bloom and Taryn Killam and lots of fun people. And we have Jessica McKenna and I, who is also in that podcast, have a album of written music coming out January 18th called The Calendar Album by the Zach and the Jess. And you can find it everywhere albums are. And right now there are 3 tracks out. A Hanukkah song, Too Late, You Were Too Slow. A Christmas song and
A Nackles song.
A Nackles song. And the Nackles song is about how, for some reason, waiters will not believe you when you tell them you've been to a shared small plates restaurant before and insist on explaining it every time.
Yay!
So those are the 3 songs that are out now if you want to go on Spotify or iTunes. Or, yeah. But mostly, thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to help out our show, you can leave us a happy review on Apple Podcasts. That's the thing that helps our show the most.
How do they send you money?
You can, if you want to send us money.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/teencreeps.
Or mail us cash money.
It's
the cash
basically the
money.
same if you donate on Teen Creeps
It is.
because we get that money.
Good.
Yeah. So you can donate there.
We get that payday.
We get that payday. If you want, tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a loved one, tell someone about this show.
Put it in your Christmas wish list.
Put it in your will.
Fill up that,
Put it in your
fill up that bag of emptiness.
Yeah.
with us.
And let Nackles into your life. And follow the show on all the social media at Public Domain Pod.
If you want to suggest a story, our pinned tweet is a link to submit a story suggestion. It just has to be in the public domain and readable within a reasonable time frame.
If it's too long, we're not going to read it. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, we never know what we're going to read next week, so I cannot tell you what we're reading next week.
Yep, but thank you so much for listening. Keep it cultured.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production. Executive produced by Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. For more original podcasts, please visit foreverdogpodcasts.com and subscribe to our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.